Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, we'll be looking into a very important concept called as sequence labeling in natural language processing. Sequence labeling is used in many NLP tasks such as POS tagging, named entity recognition, or information extraction. In this particular video, we'll be looking into the three classical models for the sequence labeling. The very first is HMM, that is hidden Markov model. Second is maximum entropy, and the very third is conditional random field, that is CRF. So I hope you all are excited. So without further delay, let's start. Now, basically, we'll be seeing first what exactly sequence labeling means. So, by the definition, it is nothing but the task of assigning a label to each element in a sequence. Now, in this particular example, okay, we can clearly see we have a sentence: the dog runs fast. Now, for each word or each token, if I would say, we have assigned a label to it. Now, the very first token or word, you can see it is the. What is the output for it is nothing but a determiner, dt. Next is dog. What exactly a dog is? It is a noun, so it is represented with nn. Similarly, the other ones. So basically, we label the tokens or words. Here, each word will have one label, but labels depends on context also. This you need to remember. In previous videos also we have seen multiple techniques to label the words. Okay, I would want you all to first watch those videos and then jump back to this particular video. So I hope to some extent the definition is clear, the sequence labeling. Now, why is it called the sequence labeling? Because words occur in sequences, right? It has particular sequence. Each sequence creates certain meaning, right? Labels depends on neighboring words. Yes, it is very important to know that labels are not random or labels are not fixed. It changes according to the arrangements of words, according to the meaning or the context which is being used in that particular sequence. Tags are not independent, this you need to remember. Now these are some of the reasons. Okay, for example, we can have same word but different context could be for it, right? So you can see this particular sentence: I can swim. Okay, here the word can is nothing but a modal which is empty, right? But if you see this sentence, I bought a can, here you can see that can is something over here. It is a noun, so we represent the label as nn. So the tag depends on the surrounding words. So this is why it is called as sequence labeling and not word labeling. I hope you're understanding it. Now let's have a look at where a sequence labeling is used. So these are some of the areas where sequence labeling is used. First is POS tagging. Okay, we basically assign the part of speech tags to each and every token. This particular thing we already have seen in previous videos. Please have a look at it if you haven't watched that. Next, we use the sequence labeling in named entity recognition. Okay, for identifying the names, places, organizations, etc. We use it in chunking, like grouping the words into phrases. We use it in speech tagging. Okay, we tag the entire speech, okay, bit by bit. Here we label the speech segments. Next, it is used in information extraction, wherein we extract the structured data or a particular formatted data. So I hope where the sequence labeling is being used worldwide is clear to you all. Now, remember that sequence labeling models have two important characteristics. The very first characteristic is capture, and the second is predict. Now, capture context dependency, it is nothing but the label of a word depends on the nearby words. Remember this. For example, if we have a word bank, it could mean financial bank also, or it could be a river bank also. So basically, context decides the meaning over here. Okay, so I hope the first characteristic is clear to you all. Next, we have the predict entire sequence of labels. So instead of labeling the words individually, the model predict the whole sequence of labels together. This particular thing helps to maintain the grammatical consistency. For example, if a word is adjective, the next word is likely a noun. Okay, so such rules can be followed in here. So the key insight is that instead of labeling words independently, the model relationships between the tags. This I hope you are understanding to some extent. The two important characteristics: capture context dependency and predict the entire sequence of labels. I hope it is clear. Now, the following are the main types of sequence labeling models. So the very first is HMM, hidden Markov model. It is a probabilistic generative model. The next is maximum entropy model, which is also called as MaxEnt. It is a discriminative model that uses features. The next is conditional random field, which is called as CRF. It is a discriminative sequence model that considers the entire label sequence. Remember this. Now let's have a look at all of these one by one. The very first is HMM, that is hidden Markov model. Hidden Markov model is one of the earliest models which is used in NLP. HMM is, remember, that it is a probabilistic generative model. It is based on Markov assumption and it uses transition and emission probabilities. So basically, we have multiple concepts which are present inside HMM. We'll be seeing that particular thing in detail in the upcoming video, where I'll be creating separate videos on HMM topic. So we'll discuss that further in those videos. But for an overview, just remember that it uses transition and emission probabilities. It has a core idea like the hidden states. Okay, uh, there are two types of states basically: hidden states and observed state. In hidden states, you will have the POS tags, that means the part of speech tags, and in the observed states, you will be having the actual English words. Okay, so a simple example of HMM structure is like this: we have tag 1, okay, and then we have the word for it. Okay, next, tag 2, the word for it, tag 3, the word for it, and you can see that tag 1, tag 2, and tag 3, all of these are in sequence. So the tags are basically the hidden states, and these words which you can see in this rectangular boxes, all of these are nothing but the observed state. Remember that as we move from left to right, it is called as transition, and as we move from the top to bottom, it is called as emission. This particular method is used widely in early POS tagger techniques. So I hope HMM, to some extent, an overview of it is clear to you all. Now, there is a key concept which is present inside HMM. It is that it assumes that the current tag depends only on the previous tag. Okay, so this is something which you need to understand. Remember that HMM will always have an assumption that current tag depends only on the previous tags and not on any other ones. Next, the word depends only on the current tag. As you can see, let me show you this again. Over here, you can see if we talk about the tag 2, you can see the tag 2 incoming arrow is from tag 1, so which says that the previous tag is only the previous tag is only responsible for the current tag. Okay, and the next assumption was that the word depends only on the current tag. So if you can see that if we look at the word 2, it has an incoming arrow from the tag 2. That means whatever tag it has for that particular word, the word is dependent only on that tag. So this particular thing you need to understand. These two are the assumptions of HMM. HMM uses two probabilities. First is the tag transition probability, which is nothing but the probability of one tag following the another tag. Example: probability of a verb given noun is before it. Next is the word emission probability, which means probability of a word given tag. Like for example, probability of the word run given that it is having a tag verb. Now, the advantages of this particular methodology is that it is simple and efficient, and the limitation is that it has a strong independence assumptions. You can see these strong assumptions are always being followed in HMM, so which is a drawback because in our languages it doesn't always happen like that. So I hope you are understanding the core concept of HMM. Now, let's have a look at the another methodology, that is maximum entropy model, which is also called as MaxEnt. So, maximum entropy model, as I said already, it is a discriminative probabilistic model. It does not assume independence. Okay, so unlike your HMM, it doesn't assume independence. It has many contextual features to predict the tags. It uses multiple contextual features. The features which are used in MaxEnt are as follows: previous word, next word, prefix, suffix, and capitalization. For example, if we have the word running, so we can have the feature suffix, because the word running has an ing which indicates a verb, right? So if it has a suffix, it is a verb. Like those features are there. Okay. So basically these are nothing but the property of data which is used by a model to make the predictions. So I hope you are understanding what MaxEnt is all about. It is more flexible than HMM because it uses arbitrary features. Now, the key idea of maximum entropy is that it directly models the probability of tag given word and context. So, example you can see over here, you can get the probability of a tag given that the word is there along with its context. So, we get a direct modeling. It uses feature functions we already have seen before. It is based on logistic regression principles. This you need to understand. Now, logistic regression, as you know, it is a machine learning algorithm which is used for classification. So it is based on those principles of it. Advantages of maximum entropy maxent is nothing but it is having a flexible feature design. It is better in terms of handling the context. The limitation is that it does not model entire sequence jointly. So I hope to some extent the maxent model is also clear to you all. Don't worry, again we'll be having separate videos of each of them where we'll be diving deep into all of these. Along with that, we'll see many numerical examples of it so that all your concepts will be cleared. Now, let's move on to the next concept, that is conditional random field, which is CRF. So, according to the definition, it is a discriminative sequence model again. It models the entire label sequence jointly. It overcomes the limitation of HMM and Maxent. So basically, you can see that first HMM came, then its drawback were covered by Maxent, then Maxent's drawback were covered by CRF. Now, the main idea is that the CRF models the probability of the entire sequence of labels together. So you can see probability of label sequence given the word sequence. Instead of predicting each label separately, it predicts them jointly like this. So label 1, label 2, label 3, and label 4, all of these will jointly be predicted. Okay, joint dependencies are there. So I hope an overview of it is clear to you all. Now, why CRF is powerful? Because it considers this full sequence. It avoids the independence assumptions. Okay, it handles the overlapping features. It produces globally optimal tag sequence. Now, globally optimal means the best solution considering the entire sequence. Okay, so it always considers the best solution and not the local optima. So I hope these uh, key points are clear to you all for CRF. Now, it is widely used in POS tagging, it is used in NER, and it is used in information extraction. Now, let's have a look at the comparison overview of all these three techniques that we have seen: HMM, Maxent, and CRF. So, according to the type of each, HMM is a generative model type, Maxent is a discriminative, and CRF is a discriminative. We already have seen this. When we talk about the context handling, HMM has a limited context handling, which we already have seen before. This is one of the limitation of HMM. When we talk about the Maxent, okay, so context handling is good, and in CRF, the context handling is stronger than all of these. When we talk about sequence modeling feature, HMM, yes, it has a sequence modeling feature. Maxent has a partial sequence modeling, and CRF has full sequence modeling. So, considering all these features, CRF is the best of all of them. So, CRF combines benefits of both discriminative modeling and full sequence consideration. So, I hope a comparison of all of them is clear to you all. Now, let's have a look at the evolution of sequence labeling, how it started and where it is now. So, first, rule-based approaches were used. Okay, manual rules were defined in here. Next came the statistical rules. Okay, wherein we use model like HMM. Okay, these models were probabilistic in nature. Next, we move to the feature-based modeling like Maxent, which we already have seen. It contains rich features predefined, which are used to predict the sequence labels. Next is structured CRF, which is solving all the drawbacks of HMM and Maxent. It is based on joint modeling, and the CRF is then evolved to deep learning neural networks. So right now neural networks are performing well in sequence labeling. Now, if I would like to specify the modern deep learning approaches for this, okay, bi-LSTM, bidirectional LSTM, CRF, and transformers are some of the approaches which excelled in this particular domain of sequence labeling. Classical models like HMM, MaxEnt, CRF laid the foundation for the modern NLP. So yes, all these indirectly helped us to reach to deep learning neural networks for having the best approach of sequence labeling. So I hope the evolution is clear to you all. Now, why sequence labeling is important? Because language is sequential. Yes, we know that the arrangements of words are sequential, and the sequence changes the meaning, and the sequence has the power to change the meaning, right? So, because of this, sequence labeling is important. Word meaning depends on the context. The tag influences neighboring tags, right? For example, noun after adjective. These are some of the rules. Next, structure matters, right? Subject, verb, object. This structure is always followed in a language. Sequence labeling allows the modeling of structured linguistic patterns. So I hope you also have understood why it is important. So this brings us to the end of the video. I hope the entire concept of sequence labeling and the different techniques that it involves is clear to you all. No doubt the techniques, whatever we have seen, HMM, Maxent, CRF, we haven't deep dived inside it, but for sure I'll be creating separate individual detailed videos along with its numerical videos which will clear all your doubts. So don't worry. But at least for now, I hope the overview level thing is clear to you all for all this concepts of sequence modeling. If you guys have any single doubt, put it in the comment section. I will be happy to solve it. For more such videos, do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell icon and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Please join me on Telegram. Thanks for watching. Have a good day ahead.